Yeah, so young men, be strong, and there is another day tomorrow. I stayed in a shack. I stayed with this woman because she had a shack until I recovered. And once I recovered, I left. And this woman, she knew. No.
You don't think she deserved the
reward? Can I continue?
She deserved the reward,
yes.
This woman.
Can I continue? Guy, if you're unemployed, the worst thing that can happen to a guy is to have, a woman buying you a house, buying you a car. There you're powerless. There's one guy in wrestling, WWE. He was my favorite. And his intro was something like, I will never be caught unprepared. I will never be undermatched, And he was literally saying that he will forever be ready. He said he's found victory in defeat in victory. And unfortunately for that favorite wrestler, he killed himself and his family, the toothless aggression, Chris Benoit. I was quite sad and saddened, to find out that Chris Benoit killed himself. A beautiful woman should always have friends, even male friends who are willing to assist, all she has to say, go say, guys, please, me as a guy, it's very difficult to get your assistance. If I don't have food here in the house, I'm alone. Sanmana Nimakaya, once more, a new season with Life with Ike Khumalo. And in the new season, we'll be talking about a couple of things, different challenges that are affecting us on day to day. I love talking about politics, but mainly I love talking about those issues that are affecting us on day to day, things that we can do something about. And like mental illness, crime, poverty, all lots, and today I felt that, one of the issues that, we never really tackle, is the issues, related to mental illness, depression, issues that are affecting men, day to day. Like I, for one, and when I wake up, sometimes I'm tired. Like today, I'm tired, because I've got challenges. And these are issues that you never get to talk ngazo, in the main. We just gloss over them. And we become surprised when people, react the way they react. As you know, with South Africa, the suicide rate is very high. And if I can check here, they say 1 in 8 men, has a mental illness, or has been diagnosed to be having challenges with mental illness. And they say 1, in 5 women. I think it's higher for women. For men. And the suicide rate, it's quite higher. For men, it's 79%, in South Africa. So South Africa ranks, 10th in the world. And there are women killing themselves. Like last year, I attended the funeral of a friend. She killed herself. And it was quite strange for a female, to hang herself, And I wish that, she could have said something before. And most of the time we attend my funerals, and why didn't she say something? Why didn't he say something? But the funniest part is that even if you say something, even if you say, guys, I'm hungry, guys don't come, and rescue you. You can say, guys, I'm not working. Guys, I need money. Guys will not come. To assist you. I don't know whether it's because everyone else is trapped, go red race, because we all have challenges. And sometimes you may think that people are not helping you, only to find what's now, but they are also fighting, their own battles. So this is the situation where we find ourselves. Like me today, I woke up, tired, because there are challenges that I have to face, in this society. As a father, I'm expected to provide for my kids at school. I'm a worker, and sometimes things don't go according to plan. You work, day to day I go to work, and it's very difficult for hustlers. And hustlers, most of the time, they don't tell, they keep everything, inside, By hustlers, I mean, you can be a entrepreneur, you can be a professional like me, in the legal field. I'm not employed by anyone. I don't call another man boss. It's quite strange, to call another man boss. And I don't falter those who do, but I don't think a man should call another man boss. I think, in terms of Labor Relations Act, they should abolish that. Imagine as a man saying, my boss this, it's not okay. Females, So for me, as a hustler, and I find myself in that space, and I work, and sometimes you battling with, working capital or cash flow. Sometimes, payments, they take longer to come to you. There are delays. They can go up to a year, 2, 3 years, 4 years. Their clients are still owing me 4 years, down the lane. They haven't paid me. And you have to consider now to issue summons. And some of the people, they've got money. And, our people, sometimes they buy farms when they're supposed to pay you. They pay you, the latest. So those are issues that you battle with. And most people will not tell. They're battling those mental illnesses. And you check here in South Africa, when you talk about mental illness, you check the causes, substance abuse, and you check about school bullying, and what causes it, depression further, historical trauma, previous attempts, chronic pain, and men don't talk about these issues as suicide until it's too late, because there is stigma attached to that, and people, they're afraid, to tell their problems. I always said, there are 2 problems in my life. I don't want a car problem and women problems. You go about there's this guy, but they are there are guys with every Saturdays, like our fathers. On Saturdays, tools out, they are fixing, and it's a group of friends. And so I don't want that problem. And I can see my neighbor here, they're trying to add into my stress. They want to become nonsensical neighbors. I've got other neighbors here, and they're trying to be nasty. And I'm a nice guy. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't make noise, I don't, do anything to upset the neighbors. But sometimes, these ones, they are grumpy. But that's a story for another day. So, there's so many issues, like fear of judgment. Guys are afraid to come out. Unlike women, they do speak out, Nice guys, and for me, it's kind of like strange to attend a psychologist. In America, they say it's a shrink. I think we're changing. We're also calling them shrinks. Imagine I'm sitting there, and I'm paying someone money, thousands, to be told that I need to forgive myself. That's why I prefer, I'd rather go to the gym, run, and but sometimes it's not enough. You do need professional, help or interventions, because I've trained with guys, who've committed suicide, shot themselves. You hear what Bulele, and not only him, killed, family members. Some they're into steroids, creatine and stuff. You can imagine, and it cooks up, and stress, trauma, and as guys, a lot is expected from us. As I normally say, Uguti, as a man, you attain manhood. Unlike women, they just have to be. Women are born, with a princess, queen status. It's, for them to lose it, as they progress in life, you start losing it if you don't behave well. But as a guy, you have to attain, your status, and you start, nobody's judging you as you start as a kid, but as you grow older, a lot is expected from you, and most guys, they know that if you don't have money, you can't build a home, you can't buy stuff, Tina, as guys, we acquire things, material things, money, so that we can have families, so that we can please the people that, we love, people who mean a lot to us. You want to buy your mother a new house or new home, cars. You want to buy your partner, be it a girlfriend, be it your wife, like in the movies, when you say, close your eyes, honey, and then somebody moves and you say, open your eyes, then you say, kiss, somebody says, oh, we all love to toast, next to the sea, in Dubai, and Namakandlela and all that requires money. So as guys, we like to impress. Unlike women, the more they acquire money, they become independent. They move away. As guys, the more we attain money, we want our women to be happy, and kids, nothing feels good like you see your children running beat, on a holiday, jumping up and down, and what you are responsible for that happiness. And as a guy, I normally say this, as a guy, if you're unemployed, the worst thing that can happen to a guy is to have, a woman buying you a house, buying you a car. There you're powerless. And I normally say this. I know our sister, they're fighting me for saying it, but being a man, the worst position you can find yourself is that one, because you'll be undermined. Even the in-laws, they'll be told, you must go there, and they'll come and dictate to you. Even delivery boys, guys who are coming to deliver furniture, be it sofas, they come and they say, Mr. Khumalo, maybe Khumalo is not even my surname, because they check the invoice, they look at the invoice, it's my partner's, or double barrel surname, because some of these, independent, they return their surnames. Maybe they say Mdluli, and they call me Mr. Mdluli. I'm already upset, they're calling me Mr. Mdluli, and they say, Mr. Mdluli, can you please sign here? I can't sign because I didn't buy the furniture. It's my wife or partner. And then I say, baby, please come and sign. She comes and sign. And this one, now they can see you good. No, man, this one, it's just wearing skirts in this house. Tomorrow they come, maybe they forgot to deliver a coffee table. They no longer ask me. They just go straight. They say, sister, asking, where's sister? And then I say, baby, come. You see, that's how you disrespected. And even if you drive the car, guys, they say, hey, Ike, nice car. It's difficult for you, to accept the compliments, because it's not your car, and you can't explain. Says, no, it's not my car. They say, Ike, buy a nice car. So those are pressures that we face on day to day, and the disrespect. And I normally say that, be it in a relationship, you can marry Oprah. I don't think that women are meant to fund the relationship, financially, and they get tired. It can be a short, space of time. And as a guy, we try to protect that space, because you don't want a situation, whether you divorce, you split, and then somebody says, I used to buy him underwears, I sent him to school. It takes your manhood. So that's where we find ourselves. And there are so many causes, and the biological factors, and there are some people to look at in the family, they've got that, history. And everyone in that house committing suicide. Doctors, when you go attend them, they want to know your family history. Anyone in your family who's got chronic illnesses, and that's why as guys, sometimes even when you meet people, you want to know their history, where do they come from, so there is brain chemistry. There are people who are affected because, family, like there's this family that I know, everyone there at a certain age, they do experience a stroke one way or the other. Most people in that family, they've died because of the same things, and as which can be genetics and medication. I once took medication. Speaking of medication, these doctors, they warned me, I must be off this medication, in 7 to 10 days. But I insisted because I was in pain. And believe you me, the 10th or 11th day, I think I got mad. I was mad, I lost, sense of good. So that, also affects, it's like you want to ask me a question. The psychological factors also, affecting us, the stress, nowadays, work, even you can see the road rage with this person is not alone. He's not by himself, he's carrying a lot. He's carrying a lot, be it divorce, be it death, in the family. There are some people you cannot console them. I remember in the TRC, this family, they went in there and they asked them, Uguti, what can we do, as a commission to soften your pain? And this lady, she said something that, it's still in my mind. She said, bring back my child. And, there are some people, you can never console them. You can never cancel them. They're never the same. So death also has, that impact. And some people were abused, as kids. And later on, you never know. These things, they just surface. There's an issue or a matter which came before court because there was always this public debate, especially on the issue of rape. When people come after years, and they say, I'm opening a case of rape, like we've seen about Bill Cosby. And the judge had to decide on that because the defense team were saying, after so many years, decades and decades, why was this person quiet, silent, and this person probably had means, to go report the case. And the judge said, when it comes to psychological, issues like rape, we don't know how they impact, people. Some other people, they stay longer, because of shame, because of, they feel disgusted. Some other people, it could be a fear, a stigma, and we can never judge a person for not coming out immediately. So there are certain issues, but later on, one day you just wake up and you say, no, man, this has happened. Like one lady that I know, she said she experienced rape long time ago. I think she was still a varsity. But years later, she now had kids, family, married, divorced, remarried. But once in a while, that blackout came in. It came, so hard. I think she screamed and then collapsed, at the restaurant because of that impact. So those things, they also affect people, and men don't talk about that. Lots of guys, who've been to jail, they get raped. They don't say that. They, because of stigma, and as a guy, it's difficult to come out and say, what, I've experienced this, and yeah, but mainly, in social, the relationship problems, like me, I'm alone. I'm a tough guy, so I can handle being alone because I've decided long ago to do away with bull dust, yeah.
But what do you do now when you find yourself in that situation? Where you feel depressed, stressed, because you said that you don't necessarily, I don't know if it's believe in talking to another person about your problems. So what do you do?
I heal myself, I take long drives, play music, talk to myself, be it God, all those who brought me here, like a child of the universe. I call upon those who brought me here. Guys, you brought me here. I'm in trouble. You must, come up with interventions because I believe, I for one, that we are more than physical. We are also spiritual. So I will try to connect. There are certain things that I still do. Look, I'm not a person who likes to consult what do they call them? Intermediaries, clairvoyances and all that, young, psychologists. I like to talk to myself and communicate directly. If I'm communicating with God, do some of the things that, my parents used to do. I can light candles, but I don't like to go, to the extreme or give another person power. I don't like to do that. So I talk to myself. Yes, that's true.
Do not believe that perhaps the current perspective that you are withholding with all of your soul and all of your might, you're withholding it with both hands, that you will not receive help from people that are trained and educated and specialized in tricks and have specialized knowledge which you don't have, how to help you, do you not think ukuthi perhaps men in general, not per se you, but do you not think ukuthi men should explore going to therapists and psychologists because they've got degrees, man, in psychology, consoling a person or making them widen their perspective. They're trained at this.
Look, I don't discourage people, they mustn't seek interventions. Actually, I encourage them. Even though in South Africa you find it is a bit expensive, but there are other avenues, where you can go and consult maybe your pastor, nearest church. If you're not a church member, you can go to the clinic. They do have those services, though public hospitals sometimes it is a challenge, for you to go through it because you've got to wait for your turn. There's so many people and they have to deal with the backlog. So I encourage that the people must seek intervention, especially professional, because we've seen the suicide rate in South Africa for men, it's high, and most men, when they kill themselves, they're not only killing themselves, they also kill those, closer to them, be it partner, be it, kids, and even if you don't kill them, directly, but take for an example, me, if I were to commit suicide, what will happen to my kids? I've also killed my kids, financially, emotionally, spiritually, and I don't know whether this has been researched that if maybe one family member has killed himself, does it also trickle down to other members? But you know what, my father also killed himself, I might as well take the easy way. So for me, I'm looking who's, beside me, looking at me, who do I inspire? What do I say to the next generation, no matter how difficult it is? I'll say this. There's one guy in wrestling, WWE. He was my favorite. And his intro was something like, I will never be caught unprepared. I will never be undermatched, and he was literally saying that he will forever be ready. He said he's found victory in defeat, defeat in victory. And unfortunately for that favorite wrestler, he killed himself and his family, the Truthless Aggression, Chris Benoit. I was quite sad and saddened, to find out that Chris Benoit killed himself because his intro was all about motivation. When he came, into the arena, very inspiring guy, aggressive, and they played, his intro. I'll never be undermatched or caught unprepared. I'll never be, not ready. I'll find victory and defeat. I've wrestled all over the world. And all of a sudden, he's gone, But yeah, in his case, they suspect, steroids probably. And yeah.
I wanted to ask, because you said that you do self-healing.
Yeah.
Do you find it effective for you? Is it working?
Yeah, it is working because, look, I'm a private person. I'm loud, and most people, they mistaken that with I'm public. There are certain things that I love to keep, give me. And hence, I've always, even when I met, maybe my exes, many women, that I meet, I tell them, listen, I'm a private person and I don't like people, getting into my thingies, knowing more about me. And unfortunately, what you fear, it always happened because I've never been in a relationship where there's no interference from friends, colleagues, and people always, go to my partner, probably because they see this public persona, strong guy, sometimes they want to get into me, they go to, do you know this guy Ike? And sometimes, they know that I'm dating this person. Do you know this guy Ike? This guy did, this guy is a womanizer. And if you've got a weaker partner, this person will come to you, Ike, you're embarrassing me, you do. And yeah, so I'm a private person. and I don't like telling the next person my problem or problems. But I know with people are professional. Like in my case, I don't discuss people's cases or matters, especially privileged information. There are things that are public in court. Anyone can walk in court, but things that are said, in camera, things that, fall under privileged information. But for me, I prefer to heal myself, maybe because I'm old school, I come from that generation, but in what I call, yeah.
So, in terms of your relationships, let's say that you're going through a rough patch with your person, and they suggest that you guys should go for couples counseling. Would you consider doing that? Or have you done it before?
No, I've never done that. I can, but you got to convince me first that what is it that requires of us to involve the third person that we can't do ourselves, like let's say marriage. If I were to, engage in a step that I've never taken before, as they say, within the libos of our pambil, you'll want to find out from people, with years and years of experience, counseling, other couples with what is it that becomes deal breakers with time after 10 years, 3 years, 4 years, what is it that you should look up to, or expect. So I would consult in that, but unfortunately, in the life as Pilagoyo, people, you might be in a relationship, you're talking relationship. What usually happens, you find partners, they consult their friends, in isolation, and then they come up with expectations, they come up with solutions. And when, as a guy or a lady, you are not part of that, and they've just decided at work, he must do this and this and this. If he doesn't do this, and then when you don't know that you are being tested or weighed, so which is unfortunate. So I suggest that if people gonna go for counseling, they must go as partners, don't go as individual, because the other person, especially guys are a bit slower, when I could be moving, throwing signs, and this guy cannot pick up, and then from there his faith is sealed. So, but in a nutshell, I don't like to consult, but I don't rule that out. I would consult if the need be, and if there's prospect, is a success, but under the normal circumstances, I'm a private person,
So in terms of double dates then, so you don't do that?
Double dates as in? Like
your friends and they people, and now you bring yourself.
I don't like I'm a double dates because, sometimes, when you bring other people, it's not always good. Once in a while I can do that, but I don't know, man. Maybe I have a problem with friends. Because friends sometimes, they like to, poke into other people's businesses. And sometimes, we could be doing a double dates, triple dates. Sometimes you find that 10%, as they say, there's an 80-20. Maybe you find that your person has got 80% of the things that you like, but you see the 20 that is missing in her, go munyo muntu, and you say, ish, that one, and you start to connect on that level, and most of the time it opens up, another, another challenge, once in a while. Not that I don't trust myself,
No, I'm just saying that in terms of the double dates now, right? So because now you were saying that with some of the people that you've been with, they would now go and talk to their friends about your relationship and all of that, and you don't necessarily like that because they end up bringing it to the relationship.
Yeah, that is also.
So if you go on double dates, then you are able to now understand those people and see also if they have partners, get their perspective and all of that. It helps to engage in that manner.
Yeah, I don't rule that out, but I'm one person that I don't like to give power to the next person, especially someone, not in my life. But I know there are other people. I don't know. It's a women thing. Maybe it's something that I fail to understand. Women, sometimes they go consult other people and then they bring that into your space, what they've discussed, the negativity and all that. And without those people understanding where you come from, and then where now you have to deal, with those, conclusions that are made somewhere. With double dating, yeah, if maybe, as you explain in that manner, and maybe it will assist. And I find it strange, with women, all women, or most of them that I've met, the first thing that they were interested in was, what, you must meet my friends. And then they are worried, about me connecting with their friends. I mean, I don't care much, as long as I'm good with your family, and yeah. And once you start putting friends ahead, for me now, I'm one person. Once I'm in a relationship with you, all that is matters, or all that matters, it's you and maybe your family. Because I know with time, I had friends when I was young. Some people, they fade off, they're no longer in my life. In my 20s, I had friends. That is, you're not going to carry all these people throughout your life. And I mean, I'm that person that I'll fight for you, even if it means that I must fight my employer. If the employer is trying to interfere or coming up with plans that are destabilizing my family, I'll say no. But I know with women, they will tell you that my boss, comes first. You don't pay my salary. And I'm looking at this and say, and like what? Because there is no way that my work will come, in between me and you. Once, I've decided to go to, this is my woman, I'll stick, now, with me, I'm like that, even if there can be thugs, you say, there's a gang member who wants you, a mafioso, I'll say, come, let's go and approach him. And I'll go and say, you know what, hey Joe, it's my chair, this one, or it's my fro, bagger off. I'm that type of a person, yeah.
So you have experienced heartbreaks before, right?
Many a times.
And did they take you to the level of depression or like mental health or anything of that sort?
Before you even answer that question, Ike, additionally, I would like to know, Utsi, do you not believe, Utsi, the reason that, men, especially later in their lives, they often go through this phase of, I don't know, others call it midlife crisis, others call it just sadness or whatever it may be, you'll be so surprised that even rich men are going through the same thing of this depression and stress thing, You don't think, these are the past transgressions of, but the sins of the youth catch up in the later age, So do you think Utim Kambe heartbreak and maybe just a youth which was a little too exuberant has a role?
Yeah, I'll say I've lost your question. What your question was?
It was heartbreak.
Okay.
Getting you to a level of depression. Or
Look,
accumulated heartbreak.
I have experienced heartbreak or heartbreaks because there are women that I've loved with all of my heart, but somehow I managed to bounce back, because I believe that there's nothing that you can do once the milk has been spilled. You have to come back, or else, you'll run yourself mad. And in the past, how I have survived that, I do what most ladies do. They, what do they call it?
Rebound.
Monkey branch.
Oh.
Ladies normally when they dump you, they've got options. They don't dump you out of nowhere. So with me in the past, unlike now, I would move from one person to the other, but it's not the same. I'll have options. Okay, fine. If this one, in the corner there is someone, but that is also using other people. But in life, there are people who can, go into that space, healing, And healing is not for everyone. There are people who can go for 6 months, a year. Some other people need other people. And there are people who know, who go, you know what, you are not in love with me, But anyway, let's just kick it because I also want you, be it, physically and all that. And once you've healed, they would know, you know what, it was time for you, to go. Like one friend, this guy, he said, he was in that situation. He said, Ike, you won't believe, I went to Mkukwini, I stayed in Mkukwini with the woman who was ugly. He says that was the ugliest woman because I had nowhere to go. I had no place, to stay. I lost my house. I lost everything. I stayed in a shack. I stayed with this woman because she had a shack until I recovered. And once I recovered, I left. And this woman, she knew. No.
You don't think she deserved the
Can I
reward?
continue?
She deserved the reward,
Yes.
this woman.
Can I continue? This woman said, later on, because this guy said, my life now was coming together, I managed, to be or become the man that I am today. He said, I went back to her. I don't know how much money he gave her so that she can move out of that place. And this woman said, you know what? I knew he didn't love me, but I was okay with it. There are people who know, but you know what? We are there maybe, as a rebound or to heal. Now, but sometimes they want to heal from something. You know it. So there are people like that, Oguti, you know what? I'll be with you for now until I'm okay. Women do that a lot, whilst they are looking, they are with you, but they are also looking, they go to restaurants on weekend and looking for other guys and all that. And once, they get their person, they create chaos like a storm, and all of a sudden they ghost you or do whatever and they move on. So that is that, as a guy, you have to deal with those things. But you know what, in life sometimes you can't win them all, and I'm strong enough, to know, Uguti, there are heartbreaks. I'm not that guy who's going to take a gun and, go chase anyone because someone said, you know what, it's over. And I encourage guys, Uguti, when it's over, move on. Life is like that. As they say, Uguti, it's like sunshine and rain. One day you'll be happy and you'll be in a space where you look back and say, you know what, I'm glad I experienced that. I'm glad, there was clarity when it comes to that situation, because if a person can end a relationship with you, it tells you that this person is not yours. This person doesn't care for you. This person doesn't love you. So therefore, as a person, you must accept it. Because if a person loves you, this person will want to fix whatever problem, no matter what problem. Like I said, with teenage guys, no matter the storm, if I love you, I will sit down with you and say, let's fix that. Let's fix that. I'll not come to you and say, you know what? Yeah, my mom said this about you, or my colleagues, my friends, or, you're not working. How are people going to look at us? For me, what matters when I'm in a relationship, it's me and you, I normally say that as a guy, you love to have a relationship, with a woman who'll say, you know what, my baby, I believe in you, and no matter the situation, you'll come tops, and then you can move along those lines. Yeah, you were saying?
I want to say with the differences between a man's perspective and a woman's perspective is just shocking, So it's a large disparity, So how is it possible that two can coexist? The Bible asks, Ubutsi, can two walk together if they don't agree? One side is saying, I will love you with everything, no matter your mistakes. The other one is saying, I will love you only without your mistakes. Is that something that is sustainable and long-lasting, or is it impossible for men and women to be together?
Yeah,
especially these days.
Yeah, these days it's very difficult, and especially where there's so many marriage counselors, some they mushroom from YouTube. People watch one video, all of a sudden they become experts, or they read one book. And sometimes you're told that you must fight, for what you believe in. You must fight for your love, save your love. And sometimes, in the same vein, you're told that, set it free, it will come back if it's yours. Now you don't know what to do. And I'm one person, I believe in clarity. I believe in certainty. And in a modern world, it's very difficult to be in a relationship because there's so many things that are happening. There's so many tendencies that are coming from other cultures, that were not prevalent when I was young. Like ghosting, like, what do they call it? There's so many things, man, when people, like, they check, back in the days, we didn't have cell phones. In the speed, the timing, when do you respond? If you respond quicker, it means that, you're so invested in this relationship, you must delay your respond. There's too many games. If you don't respond on time, sometimes it's a problem. You respond on time, sometimes you respond, 8 hours later. There's so many games, and people are always testing you. And now there's social media. Your woman posts a picture, 1 million people say nice. And those people, they could be in jail, they could be in LX, there could be people who want to smash and pass. And now you're weighed against this person, and people think that attention is value, and people want you. It's so difficult, to date, to be in a relationship nowadays, because you compete with a lot, Unlike in the past, you knew people in your neighborhood or church or school, which I met at school. Nowadays, people meet people, internet, it could be a killer, it could be a murderer. And as a guy, I'll tell you, my relationship, nice guys, we love, probably forever. And including our exes. We want to see our exes doing better. But with women, they want their exes, to be in pain, to justify why they left them, so that they can say, you know what, you see, had I not left him, but as a guy, you want to see your ex doing well. Nothing as painful as seeing your ex with a blue eye, your ex being abused, your ex looking old with a puzza face. It breaks your heart, because you say, at one point, this woman was my queen. I treated her like diamond. Look at her now, and with a guy who doesn't care, so we don't want that, and that's why if someone has dated you, and you hear what is dating another thug now, is dating lower than you, it irritates you. But with women, they celebrate that with no will. If you can see him now, it's sad. And they don't want you to prosper, because, your success, it justifies that they made a wrong decision about you. So we can see, who's evil in this situation. So that's why women, they find it easier to walk away. They say 70 to 90% of relationships are ended by men. As a guy, if I decided go to your mind, even if 2 minutes later I meet Beyonce, she will know, there's my wife. I'm not going to make a decision which I'm leaving my wife because of, this new Beyonce. But with women, it's different, because women, they get advices from their friends, and women are emotional. They take decisions based on temporary feelings or situations. They make permanent decisions. You'll be told, Chomi, you deserve better. You must leave him. You must know your worth. Nayat, I know my worth. I was looking at another situation. There's a lady, she was acting with my twins, Tia Marie something.
Yeah.
Yes, she came up. She said, I've graduated from marriage. I think marriage was a class. Now I want to be free. I want to go into a whole phase. She went into a whole phase. And guys don't look at the same. They don't look at the same. Now she tied. Guys, they're all smashing. They're not going to marry. They smash, pass. And now she wants to come back to the guy. The guy said, no. Tina's guys, it's like cheating. You don't forgive.
But
so
which one? The one who was with the black actor.
Yeah, there's another one with the black actor.
Yeah, they met a long time ago. So they recently got divorced, I think.
Yeah, they got divorced, but she wanted to come back to the guy, but the guy is not having it. So it happens because women, they advise each other, go to know, you must leave. And there are certain things that they're not deal breakers. We all go through that. No relationship is going to be smooth all the way. Sometimes there's fatigue. But it's not a deal breaker. Like it's beating you, it almost killed you. You know, as a guy, sometimes you stomach it. You're not in love all the time. Sometimes, you know, you look at this person and you say, hey, this person looks ugly, man. You know, but once in a while, that glow, it comes and you say, wow, you know what? Yeah, I'm still happy. And yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to take it back to mental
Yeah,
health.
mental, yeah.
All right. So, in terms of the stats that you have, is it mostly younger guys? Do you have like the age average, or should we check that?
No, I didn't check the age. I just, you know, focus on men. I didn't check what age.
The age average. But what do you think? Do you think it's the younger ones, or middle age, or the older ones?
Look, when it comes to bullying at school, you know, growing up, you know, it will be probably the teenagers in the 20s. But men, we more or less experience the same pressure. Once we start becoming aware, relationships, what is required of us, because there's pressure, you know, the way we dress, we want to fit in, you know, we find that there is a pressure, you know, that's associated with teenagehood, early 20s. You want to make things happen. You start to set up a calendar with by 20, I must be here, by 25, by 30. And once those things are not happening, you start to get worried. I'm 35 now. I thought I was going to have a house. I thought I was going to have this. I'm 40 now, you know. What's happening, you know, in terms of career, employment, you know. Those things, they affect you. And most people, they cannot take it. They go drinking, you know, and drugs. Yeah, so I didn't check the age, but as guys, there are certain things that are affecting us, you know, the same, you know, throughout our lives. So we find ourselves in those spaces. But you know what, it's survival. As you know, as a guy, you know, you have no one. Like me, I look at my life, I say, I have no one, and I cannot cry out, Ish, I need help. A beautiful woman, she'll always have friends, even male friends who are willing to assist, you know. All she has to say, you know, go say, guys, please, you know, me as a guy, you know, it's very difficult to get your assistance. If I don't have food here in the house, I'm alone. If I don't have petrol, I'm alone. If I don't have, you know, whatever that I need to survive, I guess I'll learn. And hence, maybe that's why most guys, you know, they decide, but you know what, I had it. Because even if you go to other guys, you know, nowadays guys are no longer the guys that we know. They talk, you know, come ask for, you know, help with him, and I don't have sugar, I don't have. The next thing everybody knows, like one day, I think I was in my 20s, this guy invited me into a function, you know, all my schoolmates were there. I kept on telling him, with Joe, I cannot come because, hey man, the situation I'm here bad. I know sometimes there's that moment, but you know, I just need to stay home. He says, no, come, man, come. You know, just take your car. When you get here, I'll pour you petrol. Then I drove to that place. And I had money for petrol that week, but I didn't want to waste money, you know, going to an event where it was not that necessary. But when I got there, as we party, you know, another friend or colleague said, Ike, so you no longer have petrol money. And I didn't tell him, I told this one. I was upset. I was really upset. That's why I don't like to have friends. Because he told this one, which I don't have money for petrol. And another one, we're doing a varsity reunion. This guy, I thought he was my friend.
Oh, it happened more than once.
Yeah?
It happened more than once.
Yeah, this guy, that's why I cut him off. Because we were meeting somewhere in Melrose Arc. Then he kept on saying, Ike, man, you must come. You know, if you're not going, I can't go there because these people, you know, I know them through you. I says, no, you can go. You know, I don't have a problem. You can go because you are now friends. I mean, you've known them for some time. He says, no, man, come. I said, my brother, right now, my budget is tight. you know. And if I go there, I'm gonna end up, you know, in a terrible situation. Then he says, no, don't worry, you know, I'll cater for you. I refuse, you know. And another one called me. He says, no, come, and you know, me and you are buddies, you know, whatever that you need. You know, I don't want me as somebody paying for my drinks, paying for menu, whatever. I've been, you know, in those situations. I grew up hard. I'm a fighter. I grew up hard. You know, where sometimes you don't even have money to pay for a car ticket, you know, in your 20s, and you're stuck in a parking. So I didn't go. So
but
then
that's so hard for other people.
Yeah.
So in your 20s, you had a car.
Yeah. Then I met a friend who was there at Melrose Arc. This lady, I think she was an MEC. You can imagine now, she's an MEC. Not DG of one government department, Director General. So I know her. She says, hey man, Ike, you know, we're having a nice reunion. When I didn't come because you didn't have money. You see? She just put it like that. You said you didn't. And I didn't tell her. I told these ones, you know, that I thought that they were my friends, and that it irritated me. That's why I stay, you know, in my own space when I know, which isn't, I don't have money because I don't want to depress myself. So, but unfortunately, when you talk to people, you must know what to call and you cannot trust people. And once you betray yourself, I normally say this, once you tell the next person, it's no longer a secret. You know, you cannot tell the next person and say, please keep it confidential. When you couldn't keep it confidential yourself, and you overburdening the next person and say, keep it confidential. So that's why normally I just prefer to keep it, you know, within myself. Even if I'm in a relationship with you, there are certain things with Dr. Nguteman, baby, I don't like this to be known about me because it affects my manhood. People, the way they see me. There are certain things that you don't tell family. You know, even if you're fighting, you know, as partners, unless, you know, the fightings are terrible that, you know, someone might lose, you know, in life. You know, you don't want a situation where somebody gives you 2,000, you go tell your sisters, your mom, or whatever. The next thing, you know, they see you differently. You know, this one is milking our child. This one, you know, and there are certain things that they must be within us. Like, for an example, if my partner did something that I feel which you can solve. If I tell my family, they won't see her the same. Even if I've forgiven her, you know, there are things that you can, you know, share. There are certain things that you can't share. I've been through many situations, you know, where people, they overshare. And as I've always said it, each time I'm in a relationship with someone, I don't know, you know, I attract people into my relationships. People, I don't know, even guys, they go approach my woman and say, you know what, this guy is bad for you. And I say, guys, why can't they plead their case? It has always been that, you know, so those things. But yeah, as a guy, you know, there are so many things that can lead you, you know, into depression, that mental illness or challenge. Like I said earlier on, when I woke up, people, they see this perfect image. I mean, I know what, you know what, the battles that I'm fighting. Like now, if I were to tell you, I haven't been paid. I've been surviving because of my tricks here and there, taking money here and there. I haven't been paid in probably 5 months. You know, I have to pay for everything. I've got dogs, you can hear them. They need food, you know. And now you start to worry about that. You check the cars with your petrol is empty here, it's empty that side. You've got the relationship, now you must, you know, maintain the relationship. There's girlfriend allowance, there's this, you know, that is expected of you. And then people don't understand, wait a minute, you've got kids, you've got lights to pay. So it's a lot, you know, for a guy, you know, to take. And you've got colleagues. That's why I said to you, in social media, I don't post my cars. I don't like to tell people where I stay because some of the people that we work with, they don't wish us, you know, good. Have you ever been in a situation where your boss, somebody who earns more than you, but this person is jealous of you, doesn't want you to succeed? There are people like that. We've got friends, you know, who are devils, personification. You know, you'll be surprised. This guy drives a Ferrari, but me, I'm driving a Golf, but she's against you. You know, there are people like that. You know, this person, he's got investment here, and because he can see your potential, he can see the God in you. So that's why certain things I keep them private. You know, I'm a celebratory person sometimes. You like to celebrate, you know, certain things that are, you know, going well in your life. You tell yourself, but anyway, I shouldn't confine myself, you know, or limit myself, you know, based on the hater standards. But it's very difficult to live in a modern world. There's so many things that are happening, you know, in real time. Yeah, so
in closing,
yes,
what do you want to say to the young men that look up to you, the ones that are going through things, and the ones that, like, at this moment they really cannot, the ones that are struggling with depression, mental health issues, and all of those things, and the ones that are really, really unemployed and are looking for jobs, and it's literally the only thing that could help their state? What do you want to say to them?
Yeah, I get a lot of DMs, people asking me that question. With the Ike, I'm going through a lot, you know, I need money, you know, to do this for this. All in all, if I were to give a universal answer, love yourself. If you love yourself enough, that's why me, whenever I post, I speak positive things about me. Some I believe them. Like when I say I'm the most handsome legal practitioner in the universe, that I believe. Some, and yeah, I should have seen me 10 years ago. I was worse. Now I live on reputation. It's important to tell yourself that, you know, self-esteem gotta be high. Love yourself, because when you love yourself, you're able to come through. Even if someone says, you know what, you're good for nothing, you're able to bounce back. You look at the man in the mirror and say, you know what, I am somebody, you know, and you don't give external too much power to determine, you know, your future. Even if you're not doing well today, like me, I normally say, I refuse to die. I'm that dog that refused to die, you know. You cannot defeat me. I cannot be defeated. You might win the first round. There'll be a second round. You may win the 11th round. There'll be the 12th round. I'm like a series of reaction. I keep coming. I have that thing which, you know what, I'm coming back. I've got this never dying spirit. So I normally tell people, be it in a relationship, you might feel that you've lost, you know, someone, you know, who meant the world to you, but love yourself enough. The mere fact that this person left you did you a favor. Sometimes there are certain opportunities, be it work, where, you know, you thought that this is my time, but for strange reason, you never got it. There is a reason for that. You know, there are no coincidences in life. I mean, my life, it has been like that throughout, you know. Everything that I have and had, it was always a struggle, even where others don't struggle. Even things that, you know, got easy, you know, other people but go to me, when you know, we don't know why you're struggling. To me, it has always been an effort. Sometimes you find good, you know, indlela's value, but you must have that spirit to what, you know what, I will come back. You know, I watch, you know, positive content, you know, telling me good, you know what, I will come back. So I'm that type of a person. I never quit. I never say die. And you must have that sense of income, which tomorrow is another day. And when you look at your previous hard times, isn't it amazing that you look at those situations, you know, favorably, and you laugh about them? Yeah, so young men, you know, be strong, and there is another day tomorrow. And life is like that, you know. Otherwise, simply, it will be boring if it was all smooth. You know, certain situations, they need to happen. I mean, if people kill Jesus, torture Jesus, and who are you? Not everyone is going to accept you. Yeah, that's what I want to say. But in closing, saying violent, you know, that's all that I had, you know, for today. You got to love yourself, you know, and if you've got challenges, consult professional help. You know, there are doctors, your pastor, family members that you can trust, talk to them and heal yourself, you know. Yeah, as they said, good, you know, broken people, they also hurt other people. Heal yourself first. And yeah, But other than that, yeah, peace and out, as they say, you must follow, subscribe, share, and comment.